Ladies and gentlemen, next it is truly my pleasure to welcome Meher Mirchandani, the author of Come Alive. She is a life coach, entrepreneur, and philanthropist who co-founded the Parman Foundation to empower women through education. She's also a motivational speaker who shares her wisdom and guidance to help others on their journeys. Meher will share her unique perspective and personal thoughts about her book, Come Alive. With us, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Meher on stage. Let's have a round of applause for Meher while she joins us. Welcome, Meher. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank you, the team of CXO Capital, for finding value in what my mission is. So I'll start with this slide, which interested me in the start of my journey. It's called that, do you really know who you are and what you're capable of? Be with this thought till the end of this presentation. So let's say yes, if you want to take charge of all areas of your life. Can I hear a yes? You have a long night to go. Let's be pumped up. You want to experience love in all areas of your relationships. Yes? You want to 10x your personal and professional impact. Yes. No? Yes. I think this is what everybody wants in life. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I have to serve today. So the agenda for today, I'll tell you a little bit about me, my story, victim to victor. We'll understand what the value of love is in life and leadership. I'll share the self-love process, which I have shared in my book, Come Alive, Don't Just Exist, and how it will help you to take charge of your life and to 10x your personal and professional impact. It's not working. Okay. So my journey, I'm born in India. I came to Dubai when I was 3 years old, so I've been in Dubai for 40 years. This is home to me. Born in a very privileged home, my father came here to set up garment manufacturing industry, and we were producing about 1 million pieces a month. So I saw a lot of growth in a very short time. I think that's what people experience when they come to Dubai. And my story was also the same. Got married to the man I loved in 2003. And I believed life after that will be a fairy tale, like every little girl imagines it to be. I was blessed to have twins at the age of 30, 9 years after I was married. And today I'm an author. But the story is not as simple as it seems. I say that I was a victim because as soon as I got married, I expected life to be a certain way, exactly like a fairy tale. But everything in my life after the age of 22 was not as per my expectations. And that's what made me a victim. I kept going inwards to understand that why am I facing so many challenges one after the other. After seeing so much growth, privilege and luxuries here in UAE, living a comfortable life, why suddenly after the age of 22 I have to bear so much pain? I lived in pain like a victim for 13 years of my life. When the kids were born, I understood and became aware that this way of living life would not serve me or them. And that's when I started making shifts in my life to learn, grow, understand myself, and understand what was missing that was making me so miserable inside my head. And what I learned was that I didn't have a good relationship with myself. The missing piece in my life's puzzle was self-love. I didn't love myself for who I was. And as a result, I lived in conflicts and assumptions. I waited for other people to fulfill me, for other people's validation to fulfill me, to make me feel enough and complete. What I didn't know, that life is about how you feel about yourself. It's about your internal feeling. The relationship that you hold with yourself determines the quality of every other relationship in life. When I joined the family business 10 years ago, I had no impact. I was scared. I was fearful that how would I make an impact on the profit, on the people, on everything in the company, because I had no impact on myself. I was barely being able to live, and that's why the book Come Alive don't just exist. My negative thoughts and programming, my subconscious programming was not serving me. And as a result, I lived in pain and as a victim of everything in my life and everyone. I thought I was a victim of my parents, my husband, the circumstances, God. I thought everybody was against me until I found the missing piece of puzzle, which was self-love. As soon as I started loving myself, taking care of my mental well-being, I started prospering. And that's what I write in my first book, Come Alive. I was able to make an impact on my family business as a second-generation entrepreneur. We launched a fund in DIFC, in DFSA, through DFSA, and this is the bell-ringing ceremony where we privately listed it on NASDAQ 6 years ago. And it was only when I was able to start loving myself was I able to take charge of my happiness, my life, my growth, my emotional and mental well-being. These are the courses I did along the journey to grow myself, to understand who I truly was, and to really become who I'm meant to be besides the circumstances that life had thrown on me. And these are the companies I manage today. Mandarin Logistics Fund is the fund that me, my father, and my brother launched together. Marinascape Mall is a mall that we manage and co-own. The factory outlet is something that my mom started, and today I manage it. And Palmon Group Asset Management is the company my father started 40 years ago here in UAE, and today I'm the managing director of that company. And Meher Mirchandani is my coaching business that I started 3 years ago. So today I manage all of this, and I'm standing here because I love myself, I love my job, I love my journey, and I love spreading this message that the relationship we have with ourselves determines the quality of every other relationship in life. I was a leader with zero impact, and today I'm managing 4 companies, and I am able to 10x the profitability of my company only because I am connected to myself. So this is a reflection exercise. I want you to take a moment. We do have some papers and pens if you wish to, or you can do it in your mind. I want you to rate every area of your life from a scale of 1 to 10. Growth and career. How do you feel from a rate of 1 to 10? 10 being excellent, 0 or 1 being not so satisfactory. Wealth and finance, health and wellness, relationships, relationship life partner, relationship with self, love for yourself, connection and spiritual guidance, contribution, difference to community. This is called the wheel of life. May I request you to take a moment and think of what numbers would you give each of these categories? Water. Thank you. Thank you. So it's very important that each of these areas are in the level of 5 or above, because if any of this area is not, then we feel we are missing something in life. And we don't want to live like we are missing something, even if we have achieved all kind of financial and all kind of other successes in life. Every area for a human is very, very important. And the wheel of life can only move forward when it is more of a symmetric wheel rather than one going 0 and one going 10. I'll be sharing the resources also. So why do you think that it is important? What are the symptoms that you need to consider and evaluate the relationship you have with yourself? Any guesses? Any guess? Why would you feel you need to evaluate a relationship you have with yourself? Absolutely. Not being heard at work. These are the 5 symptoms. Feeling a lack or incomplete within. Relationship you hold with yourself, family, health, money are below 5. Unable to jump out of bed every morning with excitement. Constant feeling of tiredness, moving to burnout. If you feel anything of that sort, you need to evaluate the relationship with yourself, because we are not put on this earth to suffer. We are put here to flourish, thrive, be alive, and enjoy the journey of life. Every day you must get excited and jump out of bed to start your new day with equal zest. I'll share the slides as well. So what is self-love, and why is it important in leadership? So before I wrote the book, I didn't know what self-love was. But self-love is identifying, is knowing yourself. Are we spending enough time knowing ourselves is the question. Then it is identifying self-limiting beliefs. We all have self-limiting beliefs, which we never think about. It's reprogramming those beliefs that are not serving us. And then letting go of everything that is not serving us. And finally, you will be able to fall in love and improve the relationship you have with yourself. When we are in love with ourselves, we will feel complete and enough, which no amount of money, power can buy. Before you can take control of your life and be an influence to others, you must evaluate the relationship you have with yourself. So what is the 5-phase process of self-love? Number 1, knowing yourself. It's exactly like the courtship with another. You need to spend time with yourself to know who you truly are. Identifying self-limiting beliefs. These self-limiting beliefs are usually the ones that are created in our childhood. We don't own them. They don't belong to us. But because your grandmom said something, because your granddad said something, because you heard a conversation in your house, we take them on and we live with those. And that, you don't know if that's serving you. It's very important to identify those beliefs. Reprogramming. So up until the age of 36, I didn't know we could reprogram the beliefs that are not serving us. But we are able to do that. And I'll tell you in a minute how. Letting go of everything that doesn't serve you. People, habits, routines, activities. We need to time and again evaluate what serves us and what doesn't. And something that doesn't serve us, we must let it go. And finally, you will be able to love and strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. Knowing yourself, you can know yourself through knowing your values, silence and meditation, growth-focused reading, movement, journaling, and gratitude. You can identify self-limiting beliefs by monitoring your thought cycle. What is triggering you? The awareness of self-judgment. Why are you judging yourself and why? Also the big one. Are you living in the moment, or are you living in the past or the future? It's very important to live in the moment, to give your best shot to every area of your life. Reprogramming. We are able to reprogram by mindfulness, involving the five senses. A lot of audio-video programming is available today for us. When we put that on and we sleep, automatically the brain starts reprogramming. And a lot of repetition. Dr. Bruce Lipton says, through repetition, you are able to reprogram your subconscious after the age of 7, because 95% of our brain is subconscious. Only 5% is conscious. I don't know what happened. Letting go. Thank you. Letting go. Letting go of non-serving habits, activities, thoughts, and beliefs, people and things. There are people who are toxic for you. Acknowledge, become aware, and let go of them. There are activities and habits that don't serve you. Acknowledge, accept, and let go of them. It's very, very important. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to let go of everything that is not serving you. There's a mistake here, sorry. And then finally, it is loving yourself. When you are able to go through the first four processes, only then you will be able to love yourself through appreciating, admiring, and being proud of who you truly are. There's a beautiful exercise that I do, which is a love letter to yourself. Whenever you get a chance, please do write a love letter to yourself and see how you feel and how much you are in love with yourself. So how will all this help you as a leader? Because I do believe this room is full of leaders and we need to address that. So the impact on personal life, it will impact your leadership and it will impact the organization that you work with. I'm so sorry, I didn't have this cough. I don't know why this is coming up. The air or the smell. I'm so sorry. So, impact on your personal life. When you are in love with yourself, you will be able to take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. You will be able to spend time focusing on your personal growth. You will be able to invest in yourself. You will have better relationships with your family because you'll not be judging them. Your friends and family are your core group. But if you're judging yourself, if you're not happy within, you'll never be able to develop the relationship, an authentic relationship with your friends and family. So it's very important to first let go of things that are not serving you to be able to have authentic relationships with your friends and family. And health. Health is connected to emotional well-being. Once you start working on yourself, by connecting to yourself, you will be able to have a better health. When you start connecting to yourself and investing in yourself, you will be inspiring everybody around you. You will become the aspirational person you have always wanted to be, and this inspires everyone around you. You'll be able to connect authentically. When you connect with yourself, then you don't feel any fear in opening up, being authentic, being vulnerable, and that is the strength. Team performance. When you are intrinsically motivated, I'm so sorry. When you are intrinsically motivated, you will be able to drive your team to be motivated, and this is extremely important because, again, no money can buy intrinsic motivation. And as a leader, when you are driven, you drive everybody around you. For the organization, you're able to retain good talent. When you are aligned to your values, connected to yourself daily, you will be able to align your team. And of course, profit is always a byproduct of your intentions, of your drive, of your performance. When the employees and your stakeholders are in love with your business, and you, profit is inevitable. So once you have understood the relationship you have with yourself and start working on falling in love with yourself, you will be able to make these 7 shifts, which are extremely important. Investing in yourself. They say something that is of most value to you, you spend the most time there and you spend the most money there. I spend most of my time educating myself because that's of value. And then you become the person you're meant to be, and you're able to teach, guide everyone around you. That's when shift starts happening. You become the influential person you've always wanted to be. When you live by your values, values are our compass. They guide us. And through Dr. John Demartini says this, a human is only true to their values. They are not true to anything in this world but their values. So when you honor your values, you're able to understand, respect others and their values. You're able to set healthy boundaries, and you allow space for everyone to grow. And that's when the shift starts to happen. You start gaining strong emotional quotient. Like they say today, EQ is better and bigger than IQ. And when you start strengthening the relationship you have with yourself, you start getting more emotionally quotient. And you're able to, again, open up and share your challenges, be vulnerable, and authentically lead your team, lead your children, lead your peers. And that's when you start feeling fulfilled. And life is always about fulfillment rather than achievements. We all live on painkillers of achieving things, achieving the next big thing, the next, probably the next car, the next house or something like that. But life is more about feeling fulfilled from within. And that's what we need to achieve as a leader, to be able to give, serve, and live our best life. Conscious communication, this is a big one. In my organization, every team leader comes to me for loving confrontation. I call it loving confrontation because it's the hard conversations which are difficult for most people, be it in the family, as I work in my family business, or with my team leaders, the CFO, my portfolio manager. Everyone comes to me for the hard conversations because they know I will do it in a very loving way, without blame, without making someone else feel bad. I will focus on growth and feedback in a loving way. And that is extremely important. To be able to retain people, to be able to take your company to the next level, you need to know how to lovingly confront people. So this is something which will become very easy for you as soon as you start falling in love with yourself. Value relationships. When you value relationships over transactions, you always have a win. It's not about the ego. You're able to let go of your ego because you know inside you that you have nothing to prove to anyone else. And it really doesn't matter who thinks what of you, because you yourself know who you truly are. I'll share a really quick story on this. There was a huge tenant we had, and he wanted some things a different way. My portfolio manager was trying to convince him for a long time that let's meet and talk, but it didn't happen. As a result, he didn't pay his dues, and so there were some hard measures and some memos sent and some termination letters already sent. But this client was a huge asset to us. And when I learned about the situation in my monthly meeting, I personally went to the tenant and I asked for forgiveness, and I requested him what would he like us to do. Everything that he told us, I was able to explain to him with love, and we came to an amicable position, and he renewed the contract for the further 2 to 3 years, which earned us so much more money. I mean, imagine if he left and we had the warehouse vacant for 6 months. That would cost us more money. He was also surprised that I went and asked for forgiveness for the memos and the termination notices that my team sent him. And he was fascinated. He was like, wow, I love your leadership, and why are you asking me for forgiveness? I was like, because this is not the way to treat a tenant. For us in Hinduism, they say a tenant and like a guest is like God, so you're supposed to treat them like one. What happened in that meeting was that I was able to honor my values. I was able to speak with love. I was able to use everything I had learned over the journey in leadership, which caused me a great deal of, I think it enabled me to retain the tenant and make sure that the company is still profitable. So profits always follow. When you lead with authenticity, empathy, compassion, profits always follow. And you're only able to do that when you are in love with yourself, when you are continuously and consistently building a great relationship with yourself and with your really innermost self. Loving detachment. What we learn in the Bhagavad Gita and even in the other scriptures is that we must do everything in our best capability with the 100% intention, with our best intention, and not worry about the outcome. If we are transactional and we only worry about the outcome, that is not the way to live, but that we do that because we fear things and we are not in a good relationship with ourselves. But when we are able to leave the outcome to the Creator and deal with every situation with 100% of good intent, you always have a win again. And I have used all these things in business, in my business, and we have had fantastic, I would say, fantastic results, and hence I share it. And that's what I write in my second book, which is called Love and Leadership, which is due to be launched very soon. Bringing love in all the dealings, incorporating love, building a nurturing environment and atmosphere in your workplace with your team members is super important. And you'll only be able to do this when you are in love with yourself. And you live your purpose. When you start living by these rules, by these ways, by making these 7 shifts, you start living your purpose, which is the most fulfilling aspect of this life. So sorry. What are the beliefs we hold? Why can't we love ourselves? I'll go very quickly. I know I have less time, and I'm sorry for my cough. What are the beliefs we hold? Why are we not able to do this? Because we confuse self-love with selfishness. We feel that if we care about ourselves, if we spend time with ourselves, we will be considered selfish. But self-love is very different from selfishness. We think it is about ourselves, but it's not. When we are in love with ourselves, like they say, when you're on the aeroplane, wear the mask first. When we wear the oxygen mask first, we will be able to serve everyone else. So the intention of loving yourself is not selfishness. It is that when you are your best version, when you are your best self, you will be able to serve everyone around you, your team members, your family members, your friends, your community, everything. It will become easy. It will flow easily from you when you take care of yourself. Acquiring material things brings us happiness. We are taught, we are brought up that achievements equals success, equals money, equals financial success. But we all know that we are here for a temporary time. And what matters is how we evolve, how we empower, and how we actually become the best version of ourselves. So when the time comes to go, we are happy with who we are. So that's what matters the most. But we forget we are not taught. And focusing on any one aspect of the model, I'll talk about the model very soon, you have to make sure that you're consciously, continuously connected to yourself. You do it for a couple of months or a couple of years and say that it's fine, I'm okay now. It doesn't work. What works is regularly being in love with yourself through the practices, regularly being connected to yourself, regularly working on being the best version of yourself for your own sake, for the sake of your soul evolution, not for anything else. That's what works. It's like taking a shower every day. If you do not connect with yourself every day, you will feel smelly and sticky, as it's the same as taking a shower every single day, but you have to do it with yourself. So how can you start your self-love journey? This is what the influence model is all about. To know yourself, you have to spend time with yourself. You can spend time with yourself through exercises like meditation, breath work, meaningful silence, through journaling, forgiveness, and gratitude. Without forgiveness, gratitude is powerless. It's very important for us to understand this, because forgiveness and gratitude, repeating them reprograms us. It releases everything we have held back, any kind of resentment for others and ourselves. So it's very important to do this. Exercise. Physical stimulation helps mental fitness. It's very important to exercise and release those hormones. Take care of your health. Reading and learning. Self-development books. If you can read and learn, you will be able to rewire what you know, and when you know better, you can do better. So if you can invest about 45 minutes a day in yourself, connecting to yourself, and building a better relationship with yourself, you are sure to 10x everything in your life. So the first step to your transformation is to know yourself, is to be in love with yourself. Time's up. So this is what we learned. This is what we spoke about today. And that's the QR code. You can download everything we spoke about through this. And of course, you can reach out to me anytime. I thank CXO again and everybody sitting here to hear me. I'm truly grateful for giving me the opportunity to share my mission. And I wish you all success on your self-love journey. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.